Welcome to Walking Wilder. I'm Bark, and this is an an intuitive reading. Check in to see what's going on in the energy of the collective that's going to be watching this reading. Yeah, let's begin and see what comes up, what Spirit has to say. Welcome in if you're new. Welcome back if you've been here before. And as always, if you resonate with this reading, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. Perhaps subscribe to the channel if you don't already. And let's see where this goes. Anything is possible at the bottom. That's a nice energy. The first card that came out is the release your agenda. So my feeling with this is that there's something in your life that you're kind of trying to control. Perhaps you're wanting it to go in a certain way, wanting someone to agree with you on something, or kind of trying to. I'm feeling a very, very forceful energy. It's kind of like I want it to. Okay, now I'm seeing someone like stomping their foot in the ground, and don't take this the wrong way. It's not. It's just the way that they show me things. But energetically, there's something here that you're really wanting to have a certain outcome, or transpire in a certain way. It's just there's something here where they're like, if you let go a little bit, there'll be more flow in the situation. You see this waterfall here. It will be easier for you to navigate whatever it is that's going on. There's also a call for paying attention to the signs that Spirit is trying to show you at this time. And sometimes, we get a little caught up in things, especially if we want things to be in a certain way. We may not see the signs because they don't align with what we want the storyline to be right now. But Spirit is like, hey, we're here, we're trying to guide you, we're trying to help you, but you need to actually pay attention to the signs. Also, if they're telling you something that you may not want to really accept at this point in time. There's a call here to stay joyful in the in-between. So my feeling with this is that you're in some kind of situation that is just not clear at the moment. You want it to be something that it's not, at least not right now. You want an answer that is not ready to appear in the physical world right now. So this is Spirit, asking you to just be, be present with whatever is. Be present with the way that things are playing out, and just kind of following the flow with this waterfall in that, instead of trying to create a certain outcome that may or may not, be for your highest good. But it's, it's that old thing, if it's meant for you, it'll be type of thing. And I know that's such a huge cliche, but there's something to this. So the call from Spirit here is to pay attention to the sign and just, be happy with what is right now. And that can be extremely difficult, of course, if you feel like you're in a situation that you really don't want to be in, or something is, not going well in your life. But remember this, anything is possible at the bottom of the deck here. So there's an underlying energy of that, things are possible. Something will, things will move here at some point in time. Spirit, talk to me about what is the core of this situation. What's this challenge that we're facing here, or this collective is facing here? Oh. First card that came out is the High Priestess. Oh, that was a lot more. I always get a lot of cards. I don't know. Here's the High Priestess. which of course is you connecting to spirit, connecting to your higher self. This, again, they're asking you, pay attention to the signs. This is kind of like, hey, I'm telling you, your guides are like, we're trying to help you here. We're trying to guide you, but you really, really need to listen to us. The Knight of Pentacles here. This to me feels like this kind of like an insecurity. Well, no, not insecurity, but this feeling of wanting to create a healthy foundation, or a solid foundation is probably more the right word here. To build something that is long lasting, that is, is stable, trustworthy, something you can, rely on in your life. But it's like you kind of, this feels to me like you're sort of, there's some pattern that is sort of preventing you from this. Here's the two bears, and you are kind of stuck right in the middle of it. So there's some resistance here. This can be a childhood pattern with the little bear here. This can be something that you have, carried with you from your home environment, something, a way you were taught, to think that, good things only come to people who work extremely hard, or, you're never going to be able to afford that, or we're not that kind of family, or, something like that along those lines, where it's like there's an underlying pattern here that is somehow controlling you, in the sense that there might be something going on where you're trying to really, really hard controlling a situation that would be better off if you just kind of went with the flow. But there's, this underlying thing that's telling you that's just not the way we do it, type of thing. The Queen of Cups here, which, with this snake, she's always making me feel that there's something here where you need to grow, need to shed this old skin here, which of course is metaphorically the pattern, the belief, whatever it is that's keeping you stuck, that's keeping you in this, I need to control things in order for things to work out. It's like there's a lack of trust in the natural process of things, So, and here's the Eight of Cups. This is, the call to walk away from this kind of stuck energy of not trusting the process, and that can be a bit difficult. You see this bridge, it's not exactly looking like it's very stable. So if that's the energy, it's like, trusting the process seems a little daunting here, but nevertheless, that's what Spirit is calling for here. Here's your Ten of Cups. This is the pursuit of happiness, of fulfillment, of, so whatever this is for you, it's something that is very meaningful, something that is very important, something that you absolutely view as your Ten of Cups. And here's the Star, which, of course, is the healing energy. So, yeah, there's, but the Star is also hope, it's also about this balance with the High Priestess. So again, my feeling with this, release a little bit of the need to try to control an outcome or a narrative, or, for some of you it might be trying to control the way that people view you, which of course that's a hopeless situation anyways. You can't, people are going to do what people are going to do, and you can't prevent other people from having their opinion about who you are. It may not be fair at all, but you won't be able to control it most of the time. All right, so this is a challenge, most definitely. What's the supportive energy here, Spirit? What's the supportive energy? King of Swords is at the bottom here. Five of Wands and Five of Cups. Huh. Interesting. There's something here about you not clearly seeing your own ability to create, the foundation for whatever it is. It's like you're debating with yourself, kind of like it's like there's a lack mentality that's somehow protecting you here, Spirit. What is this? Because the Five of Wands and the Five of Cups, are like, oh, you know what? Look at the bird here. Look at how it's holding on to this red thread. This is like a pattern that's running very deeply. This, the Five of Cups are kind of like loss or sorrow or, that type of thing. But also, this energy of not feeling good enough, not really feeling worthy, feeling, like you deserve good things, like that Ten of Cups is not. And here, with the King of Swords, it's like there's something about this that you really need to see for what it is. And with the red thread, I'm kind of feeling like, well, this is a pattern that's been repeating. See how it's tied up to the Five Cups here? It's like it keeps going and going and going. So there's a pattern here where you're seeing yourself as not being worthy of things, and it's, Spirit is like, well, you are the King of Swords too. So, try to look at things from a different perspective and let go of this. Here's also the mask over here, which tells me it's like, well, there's something here that's hidden that ought to be in plain sight is what I'm getting with this. Why is the Five of Wands and the Five of Cups in the supportive position here, Spirit? What is this? Oh, the Devil energy. There's an underlying fear here. And the Nine of Wands. Oh my goodness. There's a fear here. Or perhaps there's a story that's been told to you that is just not true. The devil can also be lies and deceit and that type of thing. And with the Nine of Wands, there could be some story here that you are kind of, repeating again and again and again, perhaps in your head, perhaps, in real life, or it has created some sort of thing in your life that feels like you're always butting heads with other people. You're always, coming up against something. It's like this kind of being stuck. I can't really get out of it type of thing. Queen of Swords. Now we have the King and Queen of Swords. There's definitely a need for you to see something here very clearly for what it is. That this red thread, this going around, this karmic thing, whatever it is in your life, is really not true. The King and Queen of Swords are, all about seeing the truth of things. So there's definitely a need to see something here for what it is. Maid of Pentacles here. What's this? The Page of Pentacles. But this is this very young. She always looks very, innocent to me. This could be a childhood pattern that someone taught you, well, you don't deserve good things. You don't deserve for things to work out, Or perhaps just had this. It may not be that they told you don't deserve it. It can also be that, we just don't, in our family, we just don't get to go to college, or we just don't get to, have a lot of money, or we just, kind of like this underlying, well, things are never really going to work out, and this is the way it's always been for generations and generations, for some of you 5 generations back because of the 5 cups here. But the 5s are also change. So it is time for this to change. There is an energy here of there's a need to see this for what it is. It really is a deception. The devil is all about illusion too, about things that are not real. And this is not real. This is someone else's story, in a sense, someone else's belief that has been passed down to you. And so now, you intuitively know with the High Priestess here that this is not your story. This isn't true. So you are trying to control an outcome of something because you intuitively know, well, this is not the way this story is supposed to end, or this is not the way my life is supposed to play out type of thing. But Spirit is like, hey, you're absolutely right. This is not your story. But, give it time to resolve itself. Learn to be a little bit more in flow and less in this, I need to control the outcome. Because sometimes, even though you have the King of Swords and Queen of Swords energy, you may not see everything there is to see. And perhaps in this situation, there's something that you need to see that you haven't seen yet. So until you do, you really shouldn't keep pushing, because it's like you might be pushing in the wrong direction, if that makes sense. Can I have one more about the supporting energy? All right. Now the cards are all over the place. That's a little bit. It was just a sound that I was like, what was that? There we go. Yeah, the world. There's some pattern needs to end, and something new, so that something new can be born here. 5 of Pentacles, more change. This is your emotional fulfillment. It's your sense of overall abundance, of belonging, of being a part of something. There's kind of like with the 5 of Wands, there's this inner conflict, or perhaps conflict with other people, but it's like all of this really needs to come to an end. There has to be better balance. Something has to heal here. Here's the 4 of Cups. You see how in this deck here, it's like there's 2 cups that has color, but there's 2 that are kind of like muddy, and they are the ones facing downwards. So it's like whatever is stuck in whatever you come from is kind of like this muddy type of thing. But Spirit is like, no, you need to put your, to separate yourself from this somehow and put the focus on creating more color, more joy, more love, more abundance in your life. And it's time to do that with the World card here. There's a pattern that needs to end here. What don't you, does viewers see coming here, Spirit? Oh. Ace of Pentacles again. Yeah, there's definitely a connection here to childhood, to some family conditioning, to something that, is very deeply rooted, I want to say, in your way of looking at yourself. Here's a new vision, the Three of Pentacles. It's time to create something new, to build something new, to perhaps cooperate either with others, or since there's free, but it can also new sides of yourself. It's like perhaps you have gifts you haven't brought into play yet, gifts that you were kind of told directly or indirectly, no, we don't do things that way. You've been kind of like doing a balancing act. To me, this is the Knight of Swords, and it's like you've been in this state of trying to fit in, if that makes sense. Kind of like, yeah, you might have an idea for something. Now my throat is acting up, so there's something here, something that's not being said, some side of you that you haven't really shown to people, because you're kind of like, well, that's never going to go over in this pattern, or people are never going to see me for for my true intentions with this, is kind of what I'm feeling. All right, tell me about this, Spirit. Can I know more? Yeah, you're working very hard here with the 8 of Pentacles to create a success here. And again, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because there's definitely an energy of you having, gifts here that you can use, but it's still, remember that first card, it's like there's a need for flow, a need for not having so much of a combative energy, because it's just going to trigger, all of this lack in you somehow. I think because other people are going to tell you, no, you can't do this, or this is just a pipe dream, or, that's not the way we do things. All of that old crap, excuse my language. But with 3 5s here, there's definitely, something is changing. Yeah, 10 of Swords, another ending. We had the World card before. So whatever this is, it's supposed to end for you, but it's like you're not quite there. Give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit. It's almost like Spirit is saying, hey, give us some time to work this out for you. Don't be so stubborn. Don't think you have to have it in exactly the way that you have, visioned it. Give us a little bit of time to work on this. Pay attention to the signs. Enjoy yourself in between, I very much feel also with this, anything is possible. There's a lot of color in these cards here. It's like, put some more color into your life. For some of you, perhaps directly, connect with your creative side. Do some painting, do some, whatever it is, but something that, brings color into your life. I think that would be a good thing. All right, Spirit. Anything else we need to know about this? Can we know something about the outcome, perhaps? Yeah, here's the Ace of Wands. Yeah, so this is a new beginning. This is and because it's the Wands, which often, is about passion and learning and all of those good things. There's something here. It's my feeling with it is kind of like, once you get this, once something, whatever this is representing for you, presents itself in your life, then you will kind of know that it's time to go. That's the feeling I get with it. It's like, yeah, there's something that when you learn this little bitty piece of information, then the new beginning is here. This is like a magic wand. It's like, whoop, okay, we're ready. So, and here's Temperance. Can I get one more card on this new beginning, Spirit? 5 of Swords. Now we have 5 5s. This is massive change. Massive change. Yeah, it's like, look at how, it's hanging there, and it's like, how long can you keep hanging there on top of other people's stories, on top of other people's, points of views, the swords or thoughts, and that type of thing. To me, they are also a lot about the stories that we tell ourselves, that others tells us. And it's like, how long can you keep hanging there? At some point, something's got to give. And here is the wand. This is the thing that's going to kind of remove those 5 swords, because it's like, all right, I see something clearly new. I see something for what it is. And there's just this new magic. Yeah, for some of you, it involves making a decision. 2 of Swords here. There's something that you have not been wanting to see. For some of you, not wanting to hear. And there might be the need for, a removal of a mask, whether it's yours or someone else's, in the sense that either you have to be willing to show up and show the world exactly who you are, or you have to kind of unmask someone else, meaning, you have to kind of stand up to them and say, hey, this is not true. This might be your truth, but it's certainly not mine, and I'm not gonna play that game with you anymore, because there's something that's that has been stuck in all of this. But with all the 5s on the table, something's changing. Yeah, 10 of Swords. Here's the ending again. So whatever this is, this has been, it's been painful, because the 10 of Swords is not to be messed with. That's a lot of pain. That's a lot of betrayal, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of all of that stuff. it's also a lot of stories. It's a lot of beliefs of how things should be that are not really yours. Perhaps you've adopted them to some degree. With this here, you could be standing kind of like in between what you know as an adult with the adult, and then with the adult bear, and then the baby bear here. It's kind of like you are standing in between, and you're kind of caught in the middle of what you know to be true for your life, or what you're wanting to create for your life, and then what you came from, if that makes sense. So yeah. Can I have one more on the Ten of Swords spirit? The Emperor. Yeah. So this is a huge, huge change. A huge change. This is not, I mean, this is really, really no small thing. So no wonder you know, there's a part of you that's wanting to control it. But my feeling with this is the more you can enjoy the in-between of whatever this is, this transformation from what you came from to where you're going, the more you let go of trying to control the details and just follow the flow, the better it will become. You know, the more Empress energy, the more you'll feel. Actually, this is kind of fun. The more you let go of the need to control, the more you'll feel in control. The more you'll feel that things align with you the way that you would like them to be. That's interesting. Can we have some advice, Spirit? Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, this is you rebuilding your life, you know, with this energy of the Nine of Pentacles. Of course, you know, the nines are kind of single in the, and this doesn't mean, you know, that it has to do with romantic relationships. This is you being strong on your own. This is you putting down roots, making something grow, kind of looking at your life going like, this is what I want to create, this is what I want it to look like, and seeing things starting to pan out the way that you're actually wanting them to. It's also comes with this sense of focus on your own growth and not on what other people are going to think of it, if that makes sense. It's like there's plenty for you to do within your own structure, your own creation. So don't put so much attention on what other people are thinking about it, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense, guys. Give the video a thumbs up if it does, and subscribe to my channel if you don't already. And yeah, I appreciate that very, very much. It helps other people find the videos, and that's kind of the whole reason for doing this. So let's see here. Ten of Wands. Yeah, to me this is like you sitting on top of all, you know, this struggle, this whatever, you know, it has been. Well, it has been a struggle with the Ten of Swords, you know. Now there's 2 tens here. That's a lot of tens too. So, you know, something is ending here, that's for sure. But to me, this is like you climbing, kind of climbing out of whatever this is, and deciding, well, you know, I'm going to focus on my Nine of Pentacles. I'm going to focus on what I'm creating, and the way that I want to do it. Not, you know, from a combative kind of energy, like I have to convince everyone else to see it my way, but more of a, I'm over here tending to my flowers, to my garden, making things bloom, doing what, you know, I feel is calling me, and not putting so much attention on, you know, what other people think of that. So yeah, Ace of Cups. This is your third eye, following your intuition, following the flow, not trying to control what other people think about what you're doing or what you should be doing, because that's not gonna, you can't control what other people do. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Big love.